Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. It's time with Eric and Marie, and it's Eric here.
And Marie. So today is Wednesday, and as we promised, we're here to deliver you guys some content. And the topic for today is a woman a man's investment? And as we had said in the last video, I happened to be watching a YouTube channel, and the young lady asked this question. So that's what sort of triggered us to kickstart our Time with Eric and Marie programs as well. So would love to hear your comments and your thoughts on that. I think I've already seen one comment on the previous video, but we're here to delve into it from our perspective.
Let me sip this before we carry on. So yeah, as Marie said, it's quite important that we talk about this topic. When she told me, I was like, that's quite a tricky one. Let us know what you think, as Marie said, in the comment box. Let's know what you think about this topic. Is a woman what? A man's investment?
Yeah. So, for example, am I your investment?
When
we met, did you have any intention that I was going to be your investment? Or even along the line, has it ever crossed your mind that Marie is your investment?
So it depends on the perspective that we are looking at this from. It's quite a tricky question, but it's not too tricky also, because an investment can mean so many things. It's what do you think investment is? You know, to put it in perspective, investment can mean so many things. So are you my investment? Let's take it from back in the days when, let's say, our forefathers went into marriage. How did they see it? They presented, let's say, a goat or a cow or something, and then the woman was given to the man for marriage.
So like a bride price.
Like a bride price back in the days. And in those days, they saw it more of an investment. It's like, I've paid so much of a bride price that you become my investment. But times have changed, and things have now turned into where marriage has become a partnership per se. So having said that, I think that things have changed over time, and personally, marriage is not seen as an investment for me from that point of view. But then there are other forms of investments that we can talk about going forward. But what do you think?
So for me, going back to the analogy that Eric made earlier, that back in the days when our forefathers went for a woman's hand in marriage, they would pay a bride price, which still very much is the case from where we come from in Africa, Ghana to be precise. But it's been modernized. Back in those days, they would see the sort of presentations they made in terms of maybe bringing a goat, a cow, some money, etc., etc. They saw that as, I am going to invest into this woman, to obviously ask for her hand in marriage. But my question is, so once the woman was then given to the man, as in their hand was given in marriage, how then were they expecting the woman to pay them back? Is it through giving birth to kids, looking after the home? What sort of returns, will the man be looking for? So if somebody says a woman is their investment, my understanding of investment is just one. We have savings, savings and investments.
I suppose
in banking terms.
I suppose back in the days when the woman was given to the man, the type of bride price that was paid, or the list that was given to you, was such an enormous list. It's like the man, the father or the mother would say, oh, I've looked after this child of mine for all these years, paid their school fees, taking them to hospital, taking them to that. So when they are giving you this list, it's like a whole yard and a half of something that would also let them know that you are paying them for whatever they put in their child. So it becomes so much of a price for the man to pay that when they get married to the lady, they're like, okay, I bought you, kind of, in quotation marks. So it formed that analogy, it formed that kind of perception in the man's mind, that it led to them thinking they own the woman because they paid so much for her in bride price. So in their mind, in the olden days, they're like, I own you, I married you, I bought you. That's why back in the days, a lot of men mistreated women because of that. You know, they behaved a certain way. But as I'm saying, as times have changed and we've evolved, and now our thinking with regards to marriage is that it's a union of a partnership. It's not something that one comes in to buy the other. It's a partnership, and therefore we give ourselves equal respect. This is how I am seeing it from my perspective. And that's how Marie and I have done it. We see our relationship more of a partnership, than you know, one has married the other and therefore one has to do what the other says, and that domineering kind of attitude.
So are you then saying that back in the day, could that have been the sort of the bedrock of domestic violence? Is that where maybe domestic violence sort of comes into the picture, or started from? No, let me not say started from, because it's always been in existence. But could that have been enough basis for certain men to abuse their wives?
It's a
physically, emotionally.
It's a contributory factor whereby some men, not all men, because I suppose back in those days too, we had good marriages. But I think that forms some basis that gave men who weren't matured enough or self-developed to take certain actions. And I don't think that warrants them to do that. But in those days, that's how they thought.
So fast forward to our current, this modern world. People still pay bride prices. In our case, you were given a list.
Exactly.
Whether it was a tall list, a short list, it was still a list. Things were presented. Does that mean that I became your investment? I know you've said it's a partnership, but has it ever crossed your mind that, oh, my wife is my investment because I paid her bride price? I had to work hard to bring all these things to ask for her hand in marriage. Therefore, because for me, the word investment, when I heard this young girl say it in the video, I said to myself, why would a woman be a man's investment? Because if some of you young girls are seeing yourselves as such, going into relationships or going into a marriage, then what sort of returns do you think the guy is looking for that you are also willing to give? Because for me, marriage is marriage.
Okay.
We're here, we're together, we're building a home, we're building a life together. If children come along, fair enough. If children don't come along, as long as we can accept and understand that it's God's will for us, we keep life moving. So for me, where does the word investment come into it? Because we invest for some type of returns back, and that's why I'm struggling to see how a woman can be a man.
So let's twist the question. I think when we make it's a woman and man's investment, and we stay at just that point, then the question is too biased. When we come into modern terms, when relationships are out of mutual respect and partnership, then the investment that we're talking about changes, because there are so many other types of investments which are not just, let's say, monetary or anything. We can look at the investment of, let's say, time, the investment of emotion. Let's look at the investment of, let's say, financial as well. It's also there. So in marriage, there are types of investments that are not just monetary. So let's look at the emotional side of things. When each partner invests their emotion in the other person, they expect another emotional return back, whereby they benefit from, let's say we've been married for 27 years. We've invested our emotion in each other so much that when you do something, it hurts me to a certain extent that a person off the street would do the same thing and it wouldn't hurt me. Why? Because I've invested my emotion into you. So, yeah. Another thing is time. Let's say you have invested what? About 27 years of your life into me.
Yeah, so, but vice versa.
Yeah, but I'm citing an example whereby you have invested your life and therefore I'm leading to something. So you've invested 25 years of your life into me, 27 years of your life into me. Yeah. And therefore, when a side chick comes, not that a side chick will come, but when a side chick comes around me, what will you say? You would say what? You won't let go because you've invested your time. If it's a good relationship, of course. Which is
what I've been saying lately. That's why he's saying that. But let them come and we shall see.
And then we shall see.
God forbid.
God forbid. But what I'm saying, the point I'm driving at is that apart from the financial aspect, we invest other forms of ourselves into our partners. And therefore, that is the type of investment that we should look at, and not a woman being a man's only investment. It's vice versa. We invest other parts of our lives into each other as partners. And that's why we're saying that in partnership, or in marriage or in relationship, we should see ourselves as partners on this journey. And that's where I'm seeing it from.
Yeah, and I think you're right, because when I was listening to this young girl say this in the video that I watched a couple of days ago, she was advising other young women, and she was saying, oh, like, ladies, hear me out. As women these days, we're a man's investment, the men invest in us. And I'm like, I think what I was hearing as I'm, casting my mind back now is more monetary or financial, as in a man is buying me things. A man is paying for, to take me on holiday. A man is maybe getting me an expensive handbag, expensive jewelry, taking me out on, to nice restaurants to eat out and all that. So I owe him something, which I think is wrong, because if he's doing those things for you, it still doesn't make it an investment. I think what I would accept maybe as an investment from a man for a young woman, or even, any type of woman, is, whether you're married or not, is what I'm trying to say, is the fact that, say, for example, I decide, I want to go and do a course next year that is going to cost me a lot of money, thousands of pounds. And Eric is like, okay, maybe how much do you have yourself? And say, for example, the course is £5,000. And I say, Eric, I've raised £2,000 or 2.5. Can you help me out with the other half? And he's like, of course, why not? Because it's for a good cause. At the end of the day, when I've completed that course, whatever benefits that will come out of it in terms of my furthering my career or whatever, the benefits come into this household. So that type of investment, if you say you've invested in your wife, you've invested in your woman, supporting her with a course, supporting her maybe to travel abroad, or something, that I can understand. But from that young lady's standpoint, and this is somebody who had just come back from Dubai on a holiday with her girlfriends and all that, and she's talking about relationships. I thought to myself, hold on a minute. I've got daughters in their early 20s, no, not even early 20s. I'll say they are approaching their mid. They are approaching their mid 20s now. And
we've come far.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want any of them. I wouldn't want any of them to think that they are a man's investment because he's paid something into their lives. If he's done it, he's probably done it because he's met you. He's already has seen something in you. He sees some value that you can bring into his life. As Eric said, it's a partnership. And maybe wants to contribute or, sow something. And if he's buying you things or whatever to woo you, I wouldn't personally call that an investment. I don't like the word investment.
I personally think that men do these things, and you're taking it from just the monetary side. Mm-hmm. So men give gifts and money and all these things out of, most men, I would say 90%. We do it out of love, because in our nature, we want to please our women. Mm-hmm. So that is why we find forms of love. So we have different love languages.
Yeah.
So one of the love languages is to give gifts and money and all that. It's an expression of our love for our women. So that's why we give them. But most men will not see it that because I've given you this, I'm expecting this back from you, or because I've given you this, that's my investment waiting for a return. Mm-hmm. Most men will just give these things out to show love. And if in appreciation you also do something which we shouldn't be expecting, then that's also you retaliating, or I shouldn't even use retaliation because that's like on the negative side, isn't it? You also showing
reciprocating
and reciprocating. Yeah. That's the right word. To reciprocate in your own kind, also learn your partner's love language and also show love in that love language. So when it comes to the investment side of things, I would rather take it from what I said earlier, from the emotional and time standpoint, where we have invested in each other. And even in that sense, it's not one-sided. It's not just one person investing in the other. It's just both of you going on this journey of relationship or marriage, showing each other care and investing into yourselves. So emotional support is an investment. Spending time with the other is investment. And all these things, they are like a bank whereby you pay into all those things and it lets the relationship blossom because you are sowing good things. You are not sowing negativity. You are sowing love. You are sowing your time. You are sowing your emotion. You are sowing all these things into the relationship. And as time goes on, because you've sowed good things, they will germinate and they will yield fruits, and you can harvest them.
Yeah. So now, what about those who? We don't want this video to be a long one, so we might have to come back next on Friday
and do maybe part two.
And this time, if we can do it in a local dialect, tree. And I know why I'm saying that, because he's saying because he wants
I don't do a local language in there.
Yeah, but sometimes we might have to, and that's just
we can probably flow and add words.
Throw in a bit here and there. Well, in as much as Time with Eric and Marie is not just limited to the Ghanaian community, other people from other backgrounds need to understand that we are Ghanaian. So every so often
we can throw in a word here and there.
Reason I'm saying that is because within our community as well, sometimes you hear some men on social media, for example, there's a lot of drama from within our community on social media. And sometimes you hear some men say, especially when they've sent the woman abroad and they were expecting something back and the relationship has gone bad. And as in, I spent a lot of money to bring you abroad. I see that as that type of investment people are talking about. But my question is, so the fact that you spent a lot of money, effort, time, and everything to bring her abroad, if the relationship subsequently is not going well, is she compelled to stay by force because you brought her abroad and you think that was your investment?
I would answer it by saying that no, that shouldn't be an investment. But the ingratitude also shown by the women on this, because when let's go to the tree. Sometimes the time period within which the women show the men, Charlie, is serious. Minimum be within a week or so. A good friend of mine, the woman had already packed, and her boyfriend, living in another city in the UK, had come for her, and the CCTV camera showed it. So, in all this while, when the man was preparing to bring you over, applied for the visa, did all these things, but you knew you had another man. So I'm not saying that men should use that as an investment, but it's all circumstantial, because when you look at the circumstance under which some women show the men, Charlie,
or vice versa,
but
in this case we're talking about women, a woman being a man's investment.
Yes. So let's look at it from that point of view, that when that happens, then the man can go back and say, Charlie, I invested my money to bring you over, and it's not easy to get a visa for a woman to bring you over. So in that case, and then they leave you within that short period of time. This is where they will see it as an investment.
Yeah. Yes. But in that case, then ask for your money back rather than the love, because you really cannot force the love.
No, I don't think at that time they are really asking for the love, because if you are not loved, if the woman loved you, they wouldn't have left in the first place. So it's more now to do with the money and what they've spent.
Yeah.
This topic, that's why I said in the beginning that it was a tricky question, because you can look at it from different perspectives. So I can gather from you that when, let's say, it's seen as a monetary investment, it's not something that goes down well with women. Is that the case?
Me personally, I wouldn't like to hear from you or from a family member of yours or a friend of yours that I was ever your investment. Because I'm not your investment. I'm your wife.
Exactly.
I'm your partner. It's a partnership. It's not even 50-50. No, it's 100% commitment, dedication, full stop. So if I was to ever hear that I was Eric's investment, my next investment, so investment for what? Because whatever you think you've invested in me, as he was saying earlier, the emotion, the love, the everything, I think I've also invested same amount.
So that's what makes it a partnership.
Yes.
So I think going forward, let's see relationships and marriages as a partnership.
Yeah.
Where we invest our emotion, our love, our time, and everything into each other, and it's a two-way affair where both are doing same at any given time. If you see it as that, then it's a very mutual, respectful, loving atmosphere where everyone is just investing and pouring into each other.
Yeah, otherwise there'll be some plan B.
Rather than seeing it that this thing that I've done for you in a few days' time, like we do in the stock exchange market or trading, you expect some returns. So if that return doesn't come, then you harbor malice with
Or it can fail.
Or you can fail it totally. You can lose it all. If you don't see these things, then you start harboring things within you, and this is where you start checking the phone and start doing all these things, and it starts going down south.
And even in terms of investment, if I'm investing into something, I determine how much I want to put in. So let's bring it into banking terms. If I'm investing, say, into a bond or an ISA or some type of, I don't know, whatever, I determine how much commitment I want to put in. So I can say to the bankers, okay, if you want me to be paying, let's say, £100 every month, I'm choosing to pay £80 every month. You really can't force me, you know. So if we look at marriage or relationship as either of us investing into another from that perspective, then we might not give it our full commission, because it'll be like as and when you please. If you wake up today and you're happy and you feel you can give 100%, let me give 100%. If I can't give 100% today, damn you, whatever, just take whatever. It shouldn't be. Marriage is partnership. It doesn't know I'm feeling great today, I'm not feeling great today. You must show up, as best as possible with your 100%. And that's where the for better for worse comes in, where if things are going okay, we are in it together. If things are not going okay, we are in it together. That is my understanding of marriage or relationship.
So guys, I think we've touched on it. We've not delved so deep into it, but at least we're giving you a flavor of what's to come on this channel. Let us know what you think about what we just discussed. Maybe you've also been through a situation where you thought it was an investment and you didn't get the returns back, or maybe you are doing as we're saying, whereby you mutually respect each other in this relationship. Let us know what you think. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time to do so. Click on it. And click on the notification button as well, so that in future, as soon as we upload, you get notified as well. But we've enjoyed your company, and I think, we'll sign off here, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll sign off here. So definitely we'll see you guys again on Friday. Please do well to subscribe, as Eric has said. And this is the kind of video that you really have to share. If you have teenage daughters, as in late teenage, early 20s, mid-20s, 30s, whatever, it's for us, adults. Let's have a conversation. So feel free to drop your questions as well, or your contributions in the comments box, and we will reply to them. Thank you.
Peace out, guys. See ya.